All right, peace, power, and love as always, and greeting. Just wanted to jump on here and bring another episode to you. If you're liking the content, you know the drill. Give me the thumbs up. Uh, like and share the content. You can also tap the bell if you like to know when I drop a new video. I'm gonna talk about something today. I really, think I'll title this one giving our children the gift of unity, giving them the gift of love, something that'll last. I'm gonna play a couple of audio clips, and then I want to get off into another police shooting. And these audio clips that I'm going to play are coming from Indisputable, Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Give him credit. Also, I appreciate you for subscribing, those of you who have subscribed, and those of you who are liking and appreciating the content. I just ask you to share the content. It's about waking up the masses. It's about bringing us together in unity to hopefully do the right thing, and hopefully also to change our condition out here. And like I say, we can't be so worried about changing the condition for ourselves. It's got to be done so that our children don't have to continue to suffer out here, so that we can give them a fair chance, something that we sometimes were not warranted. Also, shout out to my activatemedia.org family out of Boston, Massachusetts, also, who gets broadcast replays of my shows on Fridays at 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. But I just wanted to jump on this subject, and I've been saying this for years. We need our own. We need our own everything, and most importantly, we need our own schools. We need our own, like I say, everything, but really we do need our own schools, because I feel like, first of all, that these schools are not really educating our children correctly, but also just because our children are under threat, even within these schools where we send them to learn, their safety is in jeopardy at these schools as well. And I want to play a couple of clips from Indisputable. One clip I'm going to play is about and I'm sure that, well, I'm not sure, but if you haven't heard, there is a pending case. This young white male student named Nick. I can't remember his last name, but it does say the last name because the father had commented. But this particular incident occurred in a school. This black girl was not really even having an altercation with a white female student. The white female student made a discouraging remark about slavery, or called her a slave, but it'll say in the clip. But the young black female student, stood up and said something to the white female student. Well, just like some white people tend to do, they interject themselves into things that really have nothing to do with them. And During this particular altercation between the black female and the white female, well, the white male student Nick interjects himself and tells her to shut the F up. Then begins to demean her by calling her derogatory racial terms. And the father is adamant that it's not a racial thing. But as you'll hear in the audio that I'm going to play, it's definitely a racial thing. The way this young white male student interjected himself and calling her the N-word and repeatedly calling her the N-word. And not only that, physically attacking the black female student. And that's wrong on many levels. A man doesn't hit a woman. No matter, I don't care what the circumstance is. A man should never strike a woman. That's the way I was raised, and that's the way I've lived my whole 54 years of life. Now, when I was a younger man, you have fights or with your peers, and I learned at that age of around 13, don't ever put your hands on a woman, even in self-defense, is what I was taught, and what was whooped into me. And nothing wrong with that. I continued to live my life like that. And, being a man, most men are physically stronger than women and have no business putting their hands on a female. Young, whether you be young or old, a man should know better. A young man should know better. I'm going to play this quick audio clip. It's about 7 minutes, but I'm going to play, and I just want y'all to, listen to how this father really, and then the thing about it is, I've said this in the past, we as black parents, we don't teach our children hatred. We teach our children to do the right thing, mind your business, make your grades, do what you're supposed to do. Try to do the right thing as much as possible. We don't, even though we, as black people who have always been the mistreated ethnicity, we have every right to teach our children, hey, don't be, don't, if anybody has that right, it would be us. But we, even still in our state of mistreatment, still today, we don't teach our children to hate or get even or that they are better than. And see, this is the problem with white America, and this is why this problem still persists within these schools and all of that. And then I got another clip that I'm going to play from Indisputable from out of Colorado that's very disturbing as well. And see, this is why I say hatred is a taught characteristic. You're not born hating. And where did this young man learn it from? His father's so adamant that it wasn't racially provoked or it wasn't a racial attack. Well, why was the N-word thrown around so loosely? And why did he feel necessary to interject himself into that situation anyway? And then attack and broke the nose of the young black lady. So, like I say, this is why we need our own schools, so that we can be assured that our children are in a safe environment and don't have to worry about racists attacking them and calling them out of their name and breaking their nose, disrespecting them. We've got to provide the safe places, period. I'm going to play this audio clip real quick. This is for jobless Americans. I've been telling you guys for months to claim this free 6,000. You remember the white teenager who beat the black teenager, black girl. It went viral. Everybody is now speaking out. The father is upset. The father of the white teen is not happy. All right. So let's put up the picture, full mass here. And this was one of those videos. Obviously, when you looked at it, you saw the racism, you saw the anger, you saw the heartlessness. And I remember saying to myself, this is a learned behavior. This kind of anger and racism being expressed from a child comes from a place of society. Society includes your home. All right. The father of that white Kansas City student who was captured on the video fighting a black female student at school has broken his silence by denouncing his son's behavior, but adding that it was not racially motivated. To recap, the two sophomores had this altercation on videos, captured on video, after the male student rushed down the hall, calling the black student the N-word. Now, this is the irony. The N-word is clearly noted in the video coming from the white student. Now, the father is saying not racially motivated. He said the N-word multiple times before violently pushing the black child. The fight ensued as she tried to defend herself. Nicholas Rosalie shared his feeling with KMBC days after his 15-year-old son, Nick, was charged with aggravated battery for the incident at Shawnee Mission East High School. So the dad of the alleged racist teen told KMBC, quote, "I'm upset. My son hit a girl. That's one. But two, I was mad that he opened his mouth or anything of that sort because he should just wait and get a teacher," end quote. The community believes racism was at the center of the incident, particularly when right before the fight, as the Kansas City Defender reported, the black female student, Breonna Brown, was condemning a white female student about the use of the word slaves. Okay? When referring to black students, another racial component. The girls were parting ways with Bree telling the white female student, "Walk away," as a white student walked off from the conversation but tried to say something else to Bree, who replied, quote, "Don't say nothing unless you're going to come say it to my face." Nick, who seemed initially uninvolved, aggressively shouted at Bree to shut up. And Bree responded by asking, "What did he say?" The male student then charged towards Bree while repeatedly hurling the N-word. The fight broke out until an adult and other bystanders stepped in. So he attacked the girl. She defended herself. Brown's parents said she suffered from injuries to the face, including a broken nose. Quote, "It was heartbreaking." Brown's mother, Lanika, said, "It made me upset and really mad. What mother wants to see her daughter get hit in the face by anyone, let alone a male? I was livid," end quote. "We personally had to take her to the emergency room. That is never acceptable," her father, Sean Brown, the senior, told KCTV. "My daughter, with obvious injuries to her face, a broken nose, she had knots all on her forehead, the whole 9 yards. I didn't understand how they could just sit there and not get her medical attention," end quote. You have another failure of system. Although Brown was briefly suspended, she's proud of how she handled the situation. Even if you get in trouble for sticking up for someone else or sticking up for yourself, still, you did the right thing and keep doing what you're doing, the child told KCTV. And I agree. The incident sparked demonstrations with students pressing the administration to hold the boy accountable and to acknowledge racism exists on campus. The father of the white male student said the N-word is ugly, hateful, mean, and disrespectful. All right, now he didn't say it's racist. He said it is ugly, hateful, mean, and disrespectful, right?
and doesn't think his son fought Brown due to her race, even though he yelled the N-word multiple times, but was trying to protect other students. Yes, this is how you do it. Protect other students by running down the hallway, saying the N-word, and hitting a girl. His son, who was suspended, also got a wounded eye and concussion as a result of the altercation. Yeah, it's called self-defense. That's according to local news. Due to receiving threats online, his family is debating leaving the area. I feel like we're probably going to have to move. That's what the father told the news station. How is he going to go back to that school, according to the reports? The son is now placed in protective custody at a juvenile detention center and has an upcoming court appearance. Let's put a picture of the father back up again.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Now, you heard how he's fearful for his child now. But if you are a better parent, you don't have to worry about that. And how is it that the young black woman was also, as you heard Dr. Richie say, was suspended as well? And this happened in Kansas City area school. And they got to be held accountable. Rightfully so. The male student should have been suspended, but the female student, the black female student being suspended for defending herself, she did not touch the white female student. She only told the white female student to walk away or come say it to my face, which is an invitation, of course, and may not have been the right thing to say, but that is completely overridden in my eyes due to the fact of what this white male student, Nick, in interjecting himself physically into this exchange of words, because that's all it was in the beginning, was an exchange of words between the black female student and the white female student, until we have this white male Edomite step into the scenario. And as you heard in Dr. Richie's report, the father of the female student and the mother had to take her to the hospital. Why didn't the school call an ambulance? Or do they not have a nurse on campus? Because on most schools, hey, I graduated in 1988, but on our campus, we had a school nurse for, circumstances that may arise. And then if that school nurse can't handle the medical situation, there needs to be an ambulance called. And how is it that this black female student defending herself, but as you heard Dr. Richard's report, knotted up, broken nose, and was not medically seen about until the parents took her to the emergency room? And these are the kind of circumstances that happen across this country too often. And that's a mindset. Like I say, you're not born racist. No one is born hating with hate. Hate is a learned characteristic. And this father's so adamant about, this not being a racially motivated attack. Well, why was the N-word hurled around? As you heard Dr. Richie say several times. And I can just imagine. I have not saw the original video, and I don't want to see one of our young black women being beaten by white male. We lived enough of that. I didn't want to see it. I didn't even try to search for the video. But that is just one problem that we have in America. And this is why I say, you know, if it's not the cops slinging our young female students around in desks like rag dolls, and I'm sure that you all remember the video that from a few years back where the black student they say was being unruly, but she was really just sitting in the desk. She may have said something that that policeman didn't like, but she wasn't physical with him or aggressive or approaching him in an aggressive manner. She was still sitting in her desk when he ran over to her and slung her in flipped her in the desk, and then took her out of the desk and slammed her on up against the wall and pinned her on the floor. I'm sure you all remember that video. Some things remain etched in my mind, and that's just one of them. And this is why I say we have got to get our children in safe spaces. And schools, these public schools, don't seem to be the safest place for our children. Now, there's another case out of Colorado that also, giving credit to Indisputable and Dr. Ritchie, coming out of Colorado, the Cherry Creek district in Colorado. And this is like the third racial incident that has happened in that area. You'll hear Dr. Ritchie say within the last few weeks. You know, and why are these particular racist rants and racist behavior by these white students? Why? And why do they exist? Because the parents of these children, and see, Dr. Ritchie did them a favor in the video. He blurred their faces out. I would have shown their faces to shame them and their parents for their behavior, because that behavior is completely unacceptable. I don't have that much faith in racist Americans, because it's hard to it's hard to change the stripes on a zebra, the dots, you know, and these are taught behaviors. You know, these are groups of people within these schools, you know, minors that get together and spew this racial hatred, and they feel as if it's okay. And that comes from home. I'm just gonna keep it real. That comes from home. And I'm so glad that we as a race don't teach our children that type of hatred and ignorance. But here's the next clip from Dr. Ritchie that I'll play, and then I'm going to talk about,
once again, some individuals immature following case. Likely in the footsteps.
Now, you're not going to even be able to really hear the video because there's so many beats in this video.
You got that on video? No, I didn't. I'm not racist, everyone. I just like.
You hear how happy they ought to be saying that word? Ignorance.
I'm not racist. I'll say any word. I'm not racist, everyone. I like black people. I hate my pookie's black. My other pookie's white. Oh. He's not a what? He's not a. He's not a. He ain't no Negro. He's not from Nicaragua. It's a snicker.
No, I'm sure you and your families are happy I did not show you pictures. Reason I'm not showing you pictures is because I believe you're young enough to be redeemed. And this would be a scar against you that would be difficult to live down. These are the moments when the very immature can mature. When lessons that have been handed down likely from generation to generation, there could be a stopgap, a pivot. This is your opportunity. Let's put up the picture of the superintendent first. Now, he's not a minor. He's an adult. Fair game with him. This is the second racist video to surface online weeks after families in a predominantly white town in Colorado demanded a local school district do more to stop and to penalize students captured in a prior video wishing death on black people. The local NAACP is now calling for those behind the videos and other guardians to step up, apologize, and volunteer doing racial equity work. That's called mentorship. Cherry Creek School Superintendent Chris Smith, speaking at a Board of Education meeting on Monday, December 11th, addressed the video saying, quote, "We will not tolerate hate in the Cherry Creek School District." Well, what else? He emphasized the need for parents, teachers, principals, and students to actively promote accountability for instances of racist conduct after the most recent video was shared on social media at the end of November. Quote, "But I also ask us as adults to hold ourselves accountable because students are watching us as well. What we say and what we do," he continued. Keep his picture up. Put his picture back up. The only thing you have done, Mr. Superintendent, is what anyone else could have done, not in your position. You said people need to be more accountable. Parents need to be more responsible. We don't tolerate hate. You're actually in a position to make policy, to create training opportunities, develop mentorship, enhance diversity and inclusion training. You can do that, right? According to a statement made on Facebook by the Rocky Mountain NAACP, this newest video had 2 intoxicated young women, girls, displaying blatant disregard of black people by repeatedly using the N-word, while another films. It's disheartening. This is the latest and third incident in less than 2 months, as CBS News Colorado reports in September. Younger students on video on a school bus, while one student called black students cotton pickers, the N-word, and said he hated their skin color and how they talk. He hated that too. And then in early November, another set of students created so-called N-word pass cards and passed them around the school. Okay, you see it there. The students in both videos are reportedly enrolled in middle schools within the district. The first video showcased students from West Middle School, which is almost 71% white, while the second video indicated that the students involved attend Campus Middle School, which is almost 60% white. The Rocky Mountain NAACP says that the toxic culture of racism in the area, quote, has gone too far. We are calling for the parents of these young people to come meet with Rocky Mountain NAACP. We will not tolerate this behavior, and it is time for the parents to come forward to apologize by action and by word. And I want to say this for clarity. The mere fact that the NAACP has to ask them to talk to them, meet with them, commune with them, work with them, is already an L. It's a loss. Because in a circumstance like this, when you have authentic people who may have made a mistake or their children made a mistake, they should be knocking at the door of the NAACP themselves. They should want the cultured experiences necessary for their children not to end up on indisputable. They should.
All right. I'm going to stop that one right there. But you heard it with your own ears. the laughs and how happy they were. You know, just throwing the N-word around and laughing about it. And my Pookie is a N-word, and my white Pookie, and yeah, and then on here you actually see the cards that they made, a nigga pass card. Your nigga pass. You know, and I agree that these parents should definitely be held accountable. There is a case that's happening that's made national attention, national news, where the 6-year-old or the young student, I can't remember 7, 8, how old the young student was, because it's been a moment since I have visited that case, but I do know that the teacher who was shot, she lived. The teacher who was shot by the student lived. Black student who took the gun to school, shot his teacher. The mother is now having to answer for that child's actions. The mother is being held accountable for her son shooting that teacher. Now, in this instance, nobody was, shot or anything of that nature, but that type of rhetoric comes from home. That type of rhetoric is taught, and that type of rhetoric is accepted within their homes for them to be so enthusiastic and so happy and so, saying that word how it just so easily slid off of their tongue. And it was just so funny. I don't care if they were drinking or intoxicated or not. See, and that's what drinking and being intoxicated, in most cases with most people, it brings out your true feelings, your true nature, things that you may not say when you're sober. Well, the intoxicated you will say how you really feel. And in these circumstances, we see, and then you heard Dr. Ritchie point out that this is the third incident within 2 months in this particular school district. And then you also heard the percentages of students at those said schools. 70-something% at one, 60% at the other. So this is a culture. And not only that, my fiance is from Colorado and actually went to school in the Cherry Creek School District, ironically. How ironic is that? And she is in her early 50s. I'm not going to say her age, but she's in her early 50s. So she said even when she was in school, back then, which would have been during the 80s, that school district was the same exact way. So when I played this video for her, she said that doesn't surprise her at all because that area of Colorado is saturated with Caucasians, and that has always been the mentality of most of the white people there. She said it did not surprise her at all. So this is something that is not just happening now. This is something that has been happening for decades. And see, that lets you know, some of the parents of these children are probably the same age as myself, my fiance. And these are some of the offsprings of some of those very same people who were doing the very same thing back then. The illusion of superiority by the white man and woman, the delusion that they're better than everybody else, has been what has caused so much conflict in society. And we still see it to this very day. And that's sad, to say the least. This is why I say we need to give our children the gift of unity. The sooner that we, the adults, come together, stay together, and start putting our thumbs in the throats of these school districts, these city councilmen, these mayors of these small cities and these cities where these types of incidents are so prevalent, even here in Texas. You know, we come together when the incidents happen. We come together, we protest, we vocalize our feelings, but then after a few weeks, we go back to doing what we do. We leave that situation alone. We cannot continue to leave these situations alone. We need to be as vocal as we can until it stops. Now, this next case that I'm going to talk about, and I want to give it comes right here from the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I'm at. And I haven't heard not one iota of news, one news report about this case. So I want to give props out to Smash the Topic on this particular incident. I just happened to wake up this morning and Smash the Topic had done a live with this young man, Peytton Lawrence, 19 years old, killed by Mesquite police officers. Mesquite, I live in the southern area of Dallas, Oak Cliff area of Dallas. Mesquite is around 25 minutes away, 20 to 25 minutes away from where I live. Mesquite, matter of fact, is just north of Balk Springs. And Balk Springs was in the news a few years ago, back in 2017, when one of their officers, Roy Oliver, shot 15-year-old Jordan Edwards, saying that Jordan Edwards, he was in a vehicle that was driving away from officers. And the lie that they came out with at first is that the young men were driving toward them at a high rate of speed and they felt threatened. Come to find out, the young men were driving away. And this Roy Oliver shot into the vehicle. Nobody shot out of the vehicle at the officers. They were simply trying to drive away. And this Roy Oliver felt it necessary to fire into that vehicle, striking Jordan Edwards in the back of the head, killing him. Roy Oliver received 15 years. Jordan Edwards was 15 years old. Roy Oliver did receive 15 years. You know, one of the few cases where, justice, if you call 15 years for taking a life, justice was somewhat served. And in this particular case, Mesquite police officer, they haven't released his name yet. Like they always do, they never release the officer's name, but let someone do something. Let someone who looks like me do something, and his name, picture, nicknames, and all that are, strewn across these news media outlets. And like I say, this particular incident hasn't been covered by any of the news media outlets here in Dallas-Fort Worth area. This information comes from Smash the Topic. Smash the Topic, for those who don't know, is a brother, younger brother, who cruises the Dallas-Fort Worth area reporting on crimes that happen, you know, and incidents that happen within our neighborhoods. And this is what we have to do. We have to be the voices for our communities. We have to be the reporters for our communities in order for us to hope to have, you know, justice served. So I give props to Smash and his whole team because, you know, he's got a very efficient team, and they do report a lot of incidents that happen in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And like I say, in some instances, they are reporting on things that are not covered by your news media outlets here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area on ABC, NBC, or Fox, or any of them. And like I say, I hadn't heard anything about this young man, Peytton Lawrence, until this morning, straight from Smash the Topic. So shout out to Smash the Topic. Keep doing what you're doing, brother, because it takes people like you and I and others to, you know, like I say, try to at least have some type of resemblance of justice or hope for justice. And in listening to his article, I was kind of discouraged at the representation, because I say this to all of us: if you're found in these circumstances, look for lawyers who are about justice first. Look for lawyers who are going to defend your loved ones and not simply try to get paid. See, getting money, there's no justice in that. We need justice. And when I say justice, I mean, yeah, we need convictions. We need jail time. We need sentences handed down. And this particular lawyer they have handled a case of my step-aunt's, my stepfather's sister, Jonathan Price. And what was allowed in the trial of Jonathan, and rest in peace to Jonathan. I never got to meet him personally, but from everything that was said about him, he was an ideal person, an ideal young man, the type of young man that we need within our communities. But he's no longer here with us. You know, life taken by the hands of Sean Lucas, the coward cop that shot him. And he was not posing a threat to Sean Lucas, but Sean Lucas in the little town of Wolf City, Texas, felt the need to take Jonathan's life. And then when the trial comes in Greenville, Texas, Hunt County, they are allowed to put together an all-white jury, and the cop is exonerated, serves no time, has no consequences. How do you as an attorney allow an all-white jury to be put together in 2022? Because I believe that's when the trial happened, last year. How is that possible? I grew up in East Texas, in Sulphur Springs, which is about 30-minute drive west to get to Greenville. I know for a fact there are Black people in Greenville. I know for a fact there are Hispanic citizens in Greenville who could have been put in this jury pool to have a more fair jury, and a jury of his peers, some people that look like him. But this didn't happen. See, ain't no justice in that. I would have fought tooth and nail. No, we cannot have an all-white jury in East Texas, especially Greenville. Used to have a sign that said the land is. I'd have to go back, but because I don't want to misquote it. But anyway, racist area of Texas, East Texas, very racist. East Texas, same area where James Byrd was drugged to death, drug on the back of a pickup truck. East Texas. East Texas. So here we have a 19-year-old man in Mesquite. They're like I say, withholding the officer's name, and the police officer said that they had spotted a stolen vehicle, and that particular stolen vehicle was being followed by another vehicle, and they pulled into a 7-Eleven lot. Another car, then the police officer said he approached the stolen vehicle, and a confrontation occurred between him and 6 other people. They have not released the body cam footage yet. And that police officer fired his gun, killing the 19-year-old Peytton Lawrence. And unfortunately, let me scroll on down here. The releasing the evidence, they say, will probably take longer, in part because of the holiday schedules and because the city manager is or will be out of the country. So who is the city manager's next go-to? Because where is the priority? And they're swearing, as they always do, they're going to be as transparent as possible, but then they're investigating themselves. And according to the Mesquite PD, the officer tried to detain Lawrence, but claims the 19-year-old was uncooperative with the officer's command to turn the car off. Turning the car off or leaving it running does not warrant being shot to death. You know, he ordered him to turn off the car, stop moving the car, and to stop moving while inside the car. And this is what led to the officer opening fire. And I've said this before, if you are that damn scared for your life and you got all these weapons on you, you need to find your job at Family Dollar, Walmart, UPS, FedEx. You don't need a badge and a gun. So this is where we're at. You know, this is where we're at. Another young black man taken from us. Another black man whose whole lineage is now gone. Another young black man taken too soon. Another young black man who 9 times out of 10 won't receive the correct justice. And then, you know, now it's the waiting game. We got to wait for them to produce the body cam footage and the surveillance footage from the 7-Eleven. And then how long is this going to take? Will the videos be accurate? See, this is when they're working to put their lie together. Working to get their story right.